you've been inspiring what you're doing, and your humility that you're putting out there. I don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
And that's brilliant. I love it.
You got to be open, I mean, I don't know any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond surrender. And it's, I don't know. It's a good place to start, I guess. But yeah, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. Yeah, we'll talk about that because there was a comment made on it, and I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, we'll be right back. We're gonna play a 19-second intro. Be right back with Scott Ware, Radiance Magazine. What's happening, everybody? We got Scott Ware, Radiance Magazine et al. In the house, and Scott's going to be the second MC at the Soulogy Fest, the 28th through the 31st. So if you can make it online or in person, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm getting downloaded on it more and more every single day as a reflection of everything that's happening for all of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Love it. Looking forward to it.
As good. Yeah, it's good to see you. It will be very good to see you in May. And what's happening with Scott Ware and Maria? What's happening with Radiance Magazine? What's going on in your world?
It's interesting because I just did an interview an hour ago with someone named Amaya Victoria, and we were talking about these things. And I was thinking about you. I might even mentioned you. I think you and I, what we get to do, we're so blessed with what we get to do. Not just work out our stuff through our job.
Yeah, in a very public way.
yeah. But it's a vehicle that allows us to be in alignment with who we are. That allows us to deliver what we came here to deliver, but first and foremost for ourselves.
Oh yeah.
So if we're not doing it for us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then when you're in alignment with yourself, it's got to be good for the collective too. So
yeah. Service is part of this new Trinity energy.
Serving ourselves.
Well, serving ourselves, serving our brothers and sisters, serving the universe,
Absolutely,
serving humanity. Yeah. So it's like every stroke equally serves when we're in that alignment. But yeah, I think service is huge. Finding self is one thing, but we're in this physical experience and replicating or mirroring or, whatever, representing, the energetic stuff that we've done in the physical is the most powerful proposition and opportunity that we have, because I think it represents the potential, either energetically or literally or both, of transcending in the physical body, or let me say ascending in the physical body.
I followed some of that. I got a little lost, I have to admit.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying, I think we're in a time when walking the talk and physicalizing what we've done in the energetic field within ourselves, and as we've worked together, collaborating in the energetic fields, as so many people have done, but doing it in the physical is huge. I think the best is yet to come. No matter what history, no matter what memories, downloads, no matter what we've received and are aware of, what lies before us is bigger than any of that.
Sure. And you mentioned walking the talk. I mean, it's interesting because the first time I remember, well, I don't remember when I first heard that, but I remember early remembrances of that. Sounds like, oh, that sounds big. I don't know. I mean, you have to really be something or somebody to walk your talk, and to say you're going to do something and do it. And then I learned about commitment. I learned a lot of things, but one thing I've also learned is that just being in alignment with yourself is walking your talk.
Yes.
So it doesn't need to measure up to what anybody else thinks. That's the old energy of walking the talk. The new energy, I think, is being me, being the best me, the most authentic me I can be, regardless of what other people say or do. And that's, I think, walking the talk. And I encourage everyone to do as often as possible, as many hours of the day as you can.
Yeah. And regardless of what you say to yourself, because such a big part of it is, I'm not who I was yesterday. That's what I wake up each day, and I know less than I did the day before, and I knew nothing the day before. So I know nothing at a deeper and deeper level, and that's the only way I can describe this complex myriad of energies that are expanding and compounding every single day.
Well, it's
that's just
interesting.
my take on it.
All the stuff you learn and all the people you talk to, the amazing people you and I talk to in your show, in the magazine, and in my video interviews, it's enlivening, and we get filled up with it. But I think if you live in the moment, it goes into the background and just comes when you need it. But forgetting all those things, forgetting all those 80s song lyrics and everything is okay, because we need to dump all that stuff to fill with the new, but also just to be present.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what's happening. Whether we hang out with 100 people or by ourselves, being present is being becoming a bigger part of our reality, whether it's by force or flow.
Yes, I agree. And I love the excitement and everything that I'm seeing that I see your memes, and it's funny because your memes seem to have been getting more and more and more streamlined down to, I know nothing except maybe that I'm God, and I am soul, and that's perfect.
Yeah. Well, and they're getting smaller too.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big part of it. We talked about that with Helen this morning. There's let the energy speak. Because we can enhance the silence, so to speak. And to her point, you don't have to be silent. Just respect the silence. Listen in the silence, because that's where the real energy is, right? That's where the real message is.
The magic.
The magic. But, not to judge, because the more we talk, the more there's the potential to judge. And let's have some faith in what's happening, our telepathy and our intuition, our connections, our love, our heart, our journeys. And let's have some faith in it and try to embrace this new way of communication.
I was just reading something by David G., who said, do you have fear? It means you don't have trust. Simple as that. And that's a great area to explore. Go down that rabbit hole. I love to go down that rabbit hole for areas where I'm still not trusting, maybe, and either, if I'm walking my talk, then I believe we're all one, which means we're all God. We're all the same, just individuated. And we don't die.
Yeah.
And everything happens to me that occurred is for my highest and best good, no matter what it is, whether it's illness, it's you get in a car crash. I may not know in that moment why it's for my highest and best good, but over time we get the God's eye view, and we get to see the 6, 7, 8 reasons Spirit did something.
We did something. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Yeah. The dark nights of the soul are serving us now more than ever. And
how do you mean that?
Well, so many people woke up, had a dark night of the soul. That was a catalyst in many cases. And, you said that about fear. I was sitting here a couple of nights ago, and this came into me, was fear has nothing on grief. pain has nothing. I mean, fear is nothing. In terms of respect to pain. I mean, when it came in and I wrote a little piece on it, it was like, what are the deepest, darkest things you've been through? That's an energy. And we had huge bouts with it throughout our lives. And even after awakening. And that's the worst thing. And what's come from those experiences? The best things.
Are you grieving right now?
I've been grieving almost every day of the Ascension. I'm not grieving. That's a great question. Because there's been a lot of shedding. There's been a lot of ego deaths for all of us. And there has been an acceleration of them in the last 2-3 weeks, at least for Todd. But to me, it's like basically the unknown. That's really what it comes down to. So if I'm going to step into the unknown and be fixated on the world or fixated on what's, my closest externals, my experiences, people, my work, whatever, I don't know. I think I'd rather go the other way, and I would rather try to go through these experiences that I seem to be in trajectory with, like Soulogy, like my relationship with Morgan and so on, and go into it utilizing this expanded consciousness and these skills and abilities that we absolutely have, and they're coming on board more and more every single day. I just think it works through that. It's not comfortable. And yes, I think that the transformation starts with the grief, the pain, the suffering. And because from that always comes the biggest spikes.
There's a question from Jacqueline Van Logrenberg here that says, how would you interpret grief? I think it's a good question.
You going to take it?
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one. Man. Okay. Grief to me, particularly when you've lost of the physical presence of somebody. And if you're, we tend to experience that in the 3D first, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, this person's no longer available to me. They're gone. Mm-hmm. What? There's that immediate thing, because we've built up an illusion that everyone around us is always going to be there and in the physical. And we come to rely on that. So that's one of those things about being human that kind of sneaks up on us. Even the most elevated, enlightened people, over time, it's just hard not to form those kinds of attachments. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're always trying to be, get ahead of it and try to get rid of attachments we have, cutting things that are ultimately disempowering to us, especially when it comes to our identity. And that's a whole other subject, whole other conversation. But
identity's plural.
Yeah.
There's a multidimensionality to everything. Keep going.
Sure. Yes. And then I think, and I can't speak to everyone's grief, and if someone's deep in grief, I'm not there. So but I honor it. Absolutely. And someone needs to honor it if they're there. Mm-hmm. You can't just step out and say the sun is shining and I'm great. So we work through those levels. I would hope for people, grief is a temporary place. And if they are in grief, and if they need to, I would recommend seeking out help. A lot of times we feel ashamed or something, and I get help, get support, get loving support, find someone who can hold space for you. And that's the most beautiful thing, right? Yeah. When they're not putting their own agenda in it, when you're great, you don't want them. Yeah.
But I think we do. I think we're doing that by learning to hold space for ourselves, right? For ourselves.
Holding space for yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and then because how can you do anything for anyone if you can't do it for yourself, right? I just got a message from our brother Michael Mejia. Mm-hmm. I had the point I was talking about the other day. I'll just read it real quick because it goes back to what you said too about the fear. The path of the human. I call it the path of the human. Fear is no match for pain. Grief is the elixir of fearlessness. Pain is what forges the heart until it can't love anymore. Pain is what merges the heart until it can't hate anymore.
Ooh.
As they become one.
Mm.
Pain is not eternal to the soul, but soul is eternal to pain. It holds space ad infinitum for all suffering and all causes. Sovereignty comes from suffering, until suffering is no more. The fire of fear will always fan the flames of fearlessness until fear is no more. We fucking got this. That was how I felt that day. But Michael sent me a note about it, and he said that his mom transitioned in January, I believe, and they have a very strong core nucleus family. And as a sidebar note, I was watching a show, and it was Alex Collier, and they were talking about the inner Earth people and who they were most in contact with, and it was the Mexicans because of their cultural values, which were around family. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. What was I talking about? I forgot.
The grief with the pain.
Yeah. So Michael's family. So he was telling me he's been working on a poem for 2-3 weeks, and it's around this pain and grief whole thing, right? Everybody has had their situations in their dark nights and wake ups, whatever. Mine was on the street, and whatever I wrote that day, that was coming out. And what it was a point in my life where I was all grief, and to just say how it feels to me, to her question, grief isn't words to me. Grief is this energy, this force, this thud, this something that gets stuck in a big part of my body, from my heart down to maybe even my sacral, but certainly my solar, and it just stays with you. And I remember crying and crying and crying. And the reason I'm saying this is because of what she said, and what I got, which was, I realized when I wrote that 2 days ago that I was in a state of fearlessness, but I was in a deep state of grief, and I saw the relationship, and I did things in my life such as start Soulogy, being homeless, and learning to dance at 50 years old, and other things, right? So I think there is something about grief that we can all relate to, and it doesn't have to be the physical death, and it doesn't even have to be a person. And
sure.
We've done a lot of this, and now I think the time, well, for me, like I see the relationship between grief, pain, suffering, and expansion. It's a fearlessness, because you're like, what can you do to hurt me? Kind of thing. And I don't know if you've ever gotten there. Have you ever gotten there where you're just like, F it? You put your arms up in the air and you just go, whatever, bring it on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's times I think we all have to get to that. We hit a wall, and it's like, okay, because surrender, of course, is a wonderful place to get to allow and to let go. So surrendering, what are we surrendering? This is the positive definition of surrender, the spiritual version. And it's letting go of old ideas, old beliefs, of identity. And our identity, I see Bruce F. here mentioned identity. It's beyond identity. How much more is there? But identity is so much. And it's hard to let go of that. Even who I am as a father, I have children, and it's like what I thought my relationship was with them is not what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's different. And basically I don't own them.
Right.
I don't control them, nor do I try to. I once tried to different degrees and different ways, as many of us do. And I realize now I'm there's what's that word? When you take care, you're a steward.
Yeah.
If anything, we're stewards of the children. We hold space, we look out for them, but we got to let them be them, who they are, not who we think they should be. And unconsciously, we tend to try to, I wasn't good at sports, so I'm going to make sure he's good at sports, or whatever it is. I was good at sports.
I bet you were.
But, just identity, my identity to them, my identity to you, to the world, to my girlfriend, to whomever, to Gaia is, okay, what is that? And looking at that and being proactive. And, Maria talks about that a lot, being proactive, cutting out those things before they come to you, because by force or by flow, like you say, it's going to happen. You're going to be faced with it. And these days it's happening faster and faster. Someone pointed out there's like a bigger darkness happening, whatever. Maybe there is, but there's, because it's a bigger light. And if it has to be, the equal and opposite has to be there, fine. But as far as I can see, the light's getting bigger and brighter, and the possibility and the wonder. And even in people I don't totally agree with, I see their higher self. I see the beauty of their path and their journey. And I don't have to engage in some of the things they do. That's okay. But seeing that, because I used to just vilify people, seeing the beauty of their, if I trust all. I trust everything.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Yeah. It's like if we have the ability, and we do, to connect to any part of the morphic field or infinite intelligence, then why wouldn't we have the ability to step into their shoes and see where they've been to get a new perspective? That's a download that we can't get from up there. So that I really, and the other thing too, mirrors. They're the people that are closest to us are there for a reason.
Yes.
The attraction is the strongest. Children is a great example. And the great thing about what you were saying is, it's like, I have to let them go. And at the same time, there's another part of that programming, or another symptom or symptoms. And that is, am I talking to them like the Father? Am I talking to them with the judgment of a father? Like I could say, okay, I'm letting my kids do what they want, but in the way I talk to them, I might be judging them and trying to, put them a certain direction, or bring them into my belief system, right? And the other thing I think about too, another symptom to be aware of, these are things that tell us where we're at. Do I have identities, or am I striving to, or diminishing myself because I think I don't? Is my identity related to how I feel about myself being a father and how they turn out?
That's right.
See, so there's a whole bunch of stuff there that I think we're coming into in almost any situation, because there's an expansion of clarity. And if we give credence to it, and we step into it, and we be brave and bold, and we lay it on the line, and it's not, hey, I don't know nothing. That's not just me going, oh, I'm just trying to be cool. No, we don't know shit. What we do know is that we're being forced to the present. Be present with yourself. It's not about what anyone thinks. It's about what you know. And we all have that shit real deep that's coming up, and it's going to keep coming up until we, until we transcend the body.
Well, and yes, and once you come to that place of surrender, and you say, okay, I don't know anything. Well, what can fill that space? I like the question, what would love do now? Because that's equal to, what would God do now? What would my higher self do now? And all of that is being answered at the same time. And then what would love do now if I'm sitting with my daughter or my son? What would love do now? And that's, I think, just a beautiful place. That gets me out of the way. My old programming, my ego, what I used to think they should do. And I knew for the longest time, they say, people's path, people's journey, what can we do to help them on their journey? And we can see, oh my God, if they would just go from this space to this space in life, it would be so great for them. But it's like, hold on, I don't see all the twists and turns they got. So if you give a couple dollars to the homeless person, for instance, because that's usually frequently where that conversation happens, whatever they do is what they do. It's none of your business. It's, or if you don't have to give it to me. It's, it's all you. It's all up to you. But whatever they're going to do on their path, if they turn around and walk into that liquor store, or if they go whatever, that's their journey. Have trust in their journey, their path. So I gave up trying to figure out people or trying to fix them, because I don't know. But if I can hold space, then, great quote from Matt Kahn the other day. He said, when I'm around people, they never forget their light.
Yeah,
and that is my gift to the world.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
Like,
it was a hell of an affirmation. I am the light. What did he say?
Well, when he's in your presence,
Yeah.
you remember your light.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I remember. Yes. It was
It's
very
like,
good. It was
awesome.
because
Thank you.
because it was like a confident, uh, and this is, I guess,
Aversion.
the type of energy I was referring to a minute ago was like, let's step into it. Do we know what's going to happen? No. Can anybody give us a template? No, we're creating the template.
But but hey, in the meantime, because I don't have any other agendas, I'm going to enjoy your light.
Yeah. Well, you were saying that
That's the thing
too.
to do.
You were saying that too about seeing people's higher selves, and I think that's another way to approach it,
Yes.
because it is a fluid thing, and there is a new truth every day. I'm sorry, there's a new way to communicate. There's a new way to experience life because you're seeing more, whatever you want to say. But another way to do it is looking at things as energy. As we're getting more familiar with energy, and people being the biggest representation of that energy, and where all the programs are based, is to be able to in any encounter, you walk by somebody, they look at you wrong or whatever happens, to be able to just quickly go, take a breath, close your eyes if you have to, go in your third eye, whatever you do, and just go, may I see your higher self, or just to try to get, you know what I mean? The desire and the inspired action that comes in any moment now is time, time and space is doing its dance, fading away, whatever it is, and we're moving into this new atmosphere. I mean, the moment is everything we have. And if you feel it, and we all know that too, where your whole body fills up and you just feel it, just go for it.
Yeah.
It's scary as hell, but it's what got us here, got us all here.
We can get through it. Todd, I love you. Just want you to know that.
I love you too, man.
And what you said before about, someone looks at you funny or something, even if you have a moment, or you have them in traffic or whatever, later on, you can address their higher self. They don't have to be present with you.
True. Yeah, that's true.
You can make amends if you want to make, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, we let go of the identity, let go of all the preconceived notions, all of that, and just be. And then then just the light comes out, and then you're that with that person and that person.
Yeah.
And then, okay, there's someone in the group who has something they need to get off their chest. And then, but the energy is different. And let's say maybe that person has more complaints than most people that, and we come across that. Right. And then we learn how to be with that and let them, let them share what they need to share. But our energy can help dictate also how that whole conversation goes. If we engage and we have sympathy as opposed to empathy, right, then it can kind of get into it. Then our vibration drops and we get into it. But if we're over here with the rope holding on instead of jumping in the quicksand with them, better for everyone. It's a quicker experience, more loving.
Jumping in the quicksand?
Don't want to do that.
No. Well, and back to what you said earlier too. Okay, anytime you have a disruption in the field, right? Mm-hmm. You're bouncing along. Of course, it can be anything. It can be you. It can be me. It can be the energy, whatever. That's what Morgan used to say. It's very true. When you feel a disruption, what you said a while ago was, to me, where you start, which is, first thing I need to do is hold space for myself. Like if I'm not clear, if I feel something, like she was talking about grief earlier.
Sure.
I went through a couple of days of that with a lot of purging in the last week. And that's one of the things I did. I actually felt into the fear, or not the fear, but the grief as deep as I could. And what
was this grief for? Was this grief for old beliefs?
I had a lot of stuff come up, a lot of things. So it was an ongoing thing. I think a lot of people have been going through. I mean, this isn't anything out of the ordinary with the Ascension, shedding layers. It was just at a deeper level. But the impact of really understanding what grief is and feeling it and not rejecting it and not staying in prolonged sadness, and then hearing the frequency of her question and what Michael said, and I think it's a deep one. If you think about grief, loss, lack, pain, suffering, they all kind of lead to the same place, and that's a big impediment, or has been, and identity for all of us.
I agree. Yeah. Um,
So may it be
I'm glad
lifted.
to hear you're clearing and these things you're letting go. I imagine it's made you feel lighter, letting go of these old ways of being.
You know, I'm just speaking to you straight up in the moment. I don't know nothing. Seriously. I I feel powerful. I feel scared. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Sure.
I'm releasing all of that
Good.
and everything else that comes up. And I'm just kind of here. Like I just woke up, but I'm wide awake, but I can't, I can't like, if you told me, hey, what is 12 plus 19 plus 31? I'd have to take me 2 minutes to add it up. You know what I mean?
I'd get
We're in
some
it.
friends.
Huh?
I'd
You
get
got,
some friends to help me. Yeah.
right. Everybody use their fingers now. But
Yeah.
no, it's such a new atmosphere. I mean, I don't, it's just, it's confronting. I mean, all of us are going through this. I see it happening. I mean, I feel it
Well,
happen.
one of the reasons it's happening to you, I'm going to say it's because you're up to big stuff. You're putting on Soulogy Fest. You put on this show. You have about 3 people a day, approximately. Excuse me. And when you're up to big stuff and you plan,
Mm-hmm.
there's moments of like, oh shit, like what's going to happen? Oh, I put something out there and nobody's signing up yet. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got some signups now, but my speakers, I have some that have committed some. There's just all these things, and that's awesome because you're putting yourself out there, you're putting it together for you, for us. I know you want to see it, and you guess that we want to see it, and we do. And that's when sometimes when those are kind of good disappointments. But yes, we get attachments, and we have to learn to work through those attachments because then we get attached to the whole thing. You might fall into the trap of, well, this is all about me. This is the Todd show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This, and that could be, I don't know, and then you have to let go of that because it's not about you. In fact, if it could continue without your participation, in fact, if people would go on, catch your spirit, catch the flame of it and carry, candle to candle and go, that's the best thing because
That's the goal. That's the goal.
it's not about you. It's about the idea. It's about the love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I said the other day, yeah, the goal is one of the goals is to have a 24/7, 365 multi-channel, infinite possibilities, handheld, accessible. But it doesn't have to have Soulogy's name on it, and it doesn't have to be physicalized. Although I think the physicalization of our energetic creativity and work and everything else is a big part of our journey. But I got to tell you, just the way, like what you were just saying about the releasing, I haven't even had those types of things going on. I think what's happening is like the Soulogy Fest and Soul Speaks 5D and this Soulogy business has, like you said, there's a bunch of stuff on the plate, and because of the energy, I haven't had any of like what you're talking about. I have in the past, and I'm keep yourself in check on whatever. But what it's been like being in this space, which I think everybody can relate to, a lot of, I don't know an enhancement of our experience. And it's been a challenge to function. So like those old programs, I'm looking at them going, I'm not going there. I got probably 70 messages and emails that I haven't hit. And the thing is, I don't feel bad. I'm not ready. I've hit this one and that one and this one. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about it. We're right on time. And I'm not trying to talk about my own personal experience other than in an energetic way and kind of like a new lifestyle. Like the programs you can see, but you're at a higher frequency that you don't know quite how to steer, but it's kind of like balancing by the use of it, right? And which doesn't have time for those programs.
Well, it's interesting because when we change, when we do a shift, one of the things is, so the whole reason we're here, right, is to experience and experience expansion. And so that's why it's a beautiful gift that we were given the amnesia, given the layers, whatever it is, because those layers give us a place to come from. They give us something, and frequently those are the things we can help other people with. But when that's Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was going to tell you this. I haven't told too many people this, but going back to the attachments of an event and things, I about a month and a half ago, I was just thinking, should I continue this magazine, Radiance? Because there weren't. It was late February. People were not buying ads. They weren't buying space in the magazine. It was a period of just nothing happening. It was just, and I said, and I know the pandemic and all that stuff, but I said to the universe, okay, I said, I'm going to release. I said, if you want me to continue the magazine, I will. If you don't, have no one purchase the cover, have no one all those things. If that's okay, I won't prop it up in any way. It's like, if the Radiance's time is over for the 4.5 years that I've had it, and the 6-7 years before that Danielle Hewitt did it in South Orange County, then so be it. And I think it took about a couple weeks, and all of a sudden it just was popping. People buying year-long packages, 6-issue packages, this, that, people re-upping their, I'm like, okay, we're continuing, so we're doing more video interviews as well and all that. So but I had to do that. And I had to say, it's okay. And part of my identity was wrapped up in being the publisher of Radiance Magazine, the editor. It's like, I'm not that. I'm a human being first. I'm a soul first, right? Yeah. I'm not even Scott first, right? But you get what I mean. So that was interesting. And at the same time, who knows what May and June, and it's everything. I think we're all realizing it's all month to month. It's all day to day, and that's okay. And that goes back to what you were saying. It's okay that you're not answering your emails. And I think I have 1 or 2 out to you, but that's okay. I got it. No problem. Good. I made up my own answer. That's fine.
No, I actually answered yours, I think.
No, there was one. You know what? I left you a couple of those you record a voice text that I don't think you heard, but that's okay.
Oh, really?
Don't listen to him now. No, but it's all good. But what I'm saying is that it's okay. Everything's okay. People think this and all that. It's all okay. In fact, you can just drop it now, because the next step forward, we don't know what it is. If you do, then you're on the ego trip and you're on that journey. Okay, well,
dude, we could have anything. We could have earthquakes. We could have spaceships landing. We could have the Garden of Eden tomorrow. We could have anything can happen, and that goes right down to the core. And so it's wide open if you're open, and anything we have, the math works if you give it up. Because we all know this, we can all testify this. You often don't get something until you surrender, that you won't have it, or that you right. So this is the kind of energy we're playing in.
Remember the old poster? It said something like, "If it belongs to you, what is it? If you let it go and it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was."
Right.
And that was sort of the old energy. There's an updated version of that, I think, but it's similar, and
that's right.
It's just, let it go, surrender it. And if you have a problem surrendering it, look at that attachment.
That's right.
Is an opening. If you go there, just take a moment, sit under a tree, take 5 or 10 minutes. What is that? Where does it go to? And you can release yourself from that. You're so much more free, and something is not controlling you.
Right. And I think, there's obviously been in the COVID quarantines or whatever was a part of it, or a symbol of it. The self introspection, the self-examination, if you look at that whole, aspect of our experience and our physicality with just the energy of the quarantine and the things that literally have occurred because of it, with the big one being more time, more self-reflection for everybody. Okay. So if, the thing is like, we're at a point, I would put it this way. We're at a point where we have cleared, there's a lot been cleared individually, collectively. We're in a higher frequency, and we can have a real discussion with the universe now, which is what you were doing earlier when you were talking about the magazine.
Yeah,
We can have a no bullshit discussion.
absolutely.
We can actually, the programs are either almost gone or enough gone or almost enough gone. We can
Veil
see it,
thinning.
and you can have a come to Jesus meeting with yourself. You can have,
Yeah.
and you do this. I think we do this. I'm not saying you do it or I do it or know how to do it, but I think we do this, or this is a result of all the stuff that we've cleared, and as we continue to clear, because I don't think it ever changes. I think that there could be a blockage occur if we hit a certain spot, and I think we've all done that before. We clear, and then, you know, like you said, 2 years later, you go, oh wow, that program's been running all this time, and you feel like an idiot. Stupid is the road to humility, right? I mean, but I think we're in this space where we can really activate ourselves like never before.
Are you calling yourself out as stupid? I admire that.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. Yes. Every day, every single day.
Well, anytime we lead with our ego, you know, we're going to trip over our feet for sure.
Is this same for women, or are you just having man talk? No, this is soul talk, in my opinion. This is the human hybrid soul talk. This is what's happening right now. And I'm not, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to talk about. We need to talk about, I'm afraid to do this, or I want to do that. We want to talk about what's changing, and it's changing so fast. That's the thing. And that's what keeps putting me in this chair. I shouldn't have been on camera for 10 straight days. I had no business. But that's why, because I used to refer to as my higher self, me, this more integrated me, this evolving me, said, get in the chair and spread this energy. Share your truth. Well, it's not even like that. It's like, okay, you want to see it, warts and all, here it is.
Yeah.
You know, here it is, not shaved or emotional, whatever the case is. This is important. These are frequencies that we all share that we're afraid to share.
Agreed. Absolutely. And the more we can do that and be authentic. I remember in my screenwriting days, they would say the personal is the universal. So the more personal you get, actually, the more people get it. But people make the mistake. They think, wow, I need to speak to a broad audience, so I need to speak in terms of generalities. No, you lose people.
Personal is the universal. Boom. Boom.
I didn't originate that, but I passed it on to you. Yes, we passed it.
Very good. I have to put it in this new rap I'm writing.
Good.
Yeah, these moments of silence are, it's like if you go out to the beach and you see a big wave coming in, right? And it gets to its crest, and it'd be like stopping it. It'd be like, and the wave goes and it just stops. It's the silence is the splash, right? I mean, it's let it wash over us. We are the grandest opportunity to each other when it comes to activation, stimulation, awakening, awareness, love. I mean, it's right here before us now.
If we open ourselves to miracles in people, go into the next group of people you go into, the next meeting, the next person you see, be open to their miracles. You might shed a tear. They might shed a tear. I'm almost crying right now. It's like just being open. I'm open to your presence, mine, ours together. The third thing we're creating, and it's just beautiful. And that's where we are, and it's awesome. And we can be silent for 10, 15 more minutes if you want.
Oh, you're trying to get rid of me? It says 4:44.
And
there's 77 people here, and we've been on for 44 minutes. So that's another thing. These synchronicities, I'm not even hesitating anymore. Like if I have a certain thought pattern going, and I see, and it happened to me. It happened to me on the first show. But right when it happened to me, it said, "You have received 100 comments on this show," and then I looked up, and there was 100 people 100 people at that moment on the live. I mean, these synchronicities are incredible. What else can we do? We've tried. Look, there's no judgment anymore. So we can all say, I did that, I did that, I did that, because we all fucking did it, right? Okay. So we don't have to, I mean, we've got nothing to hide. And that is it. We've got, what does the human have to offer? What it's had to hide. Because in those shadows and in those darknesses and in those traumas, we have hidden what look to be like chunks of coal that are the fucking brightest diamonds within our essence. And that is a gift to this universe. It's a gift to all of our aspects, and it's a gift to ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the gifts of love we give others and ourselves are hard-earned, hard-won. The diamonds we're presenting don't show the coal that they came from, if to use that example. But we give them with grace. We don't sit there and talk about how hard it was, because it doesn't matter.
What's the point?
Over. What's the point? Exactly.
What's the point now?
That's right. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in the moment. The present moment is just that. And I feel blessed that I have that available. And I'm so grateful to be alive, grateful that I have access to all this knowledge, this knowing. It's not even knowledge. It's not information. It's a knowing that everything's going to be okay, that everything is okay, that everything's happening for my highest and best good. And like we have hard points. We have moments where we got to, we're in this, or we're upset, or, tell Maria, I said once in a while, all right, I need a few minutes for an attitude adjustment. I need to go outside, take off my shoes and sock, or whatever, listen to some music. But it happens, but life is good. Life is very good. And I think that's why people come in and listen to your show also. It's very entertaining too. And I haven't heard any dragon stories from you lately, but I know they're there. But hey, it's all me.
I actually got them. I had this card set that my friend Gayatri from India. They're awesome. I've never used cards, and through this period in the last 10 days or so, I'll pull one when I have something pop up, and I don't know, it works for me.
It's funny you should say that, because I've always had an interest in the tarot, or the tarot, depending on how you like to pronounce it.
Yeah. And
I've gotten back into it. Had a friend of mine, Sharifa Hardy, give me some lessons, and I studied a little bit, and it's fascinating. It's a means to an end. It's tea leaves, whatever, but as a storyteller, I enjoy what they're imbued with, and I love knowing every card is a warning and a lesson.
It's that paradox. It's that paradox. Yeah, it's always that paradox.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled one. I didn't have a question, just to present and meld with the energy of this vortex of all the people that are live, me and you, and anyone on the replay, because we know there's no linear timeline.
That's right.
It's a nice, feminine,
beautiful,
warrioress, goddess energy, mother energy. And she says contemplation.
I see so tell you what I see. I see a fierceness also, but that is kept under wraps only when needed. But a fierceness in, I always hesitate using the word protection, because that can sound like but of keeping boundaries over oneself, and making sure that what we're creating, what they're creating is kept there, is undisturbed. And I see magic, of course. I see mysticism. I see connection to the infinite, but I see a relaxed nature also. I see a certain relax, and also enjoying the physical self, like luxuriating in the physical. That's what I saw.
Yeah. Cool, man. Very cool.
I love looking at things like that. And of course it's it's showing obviously things coming from me, and someone else could look at it and see something totally different. But
and that's the truth of it.
Yeah.
That's the whole truth of it right there.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, but there could be some type of cosmic possibility or potential where, because each one of these perspectives is different.
Yes.
But then you have this, you know, this trajectory that we're on, which is oneness, and that has a physical connotation or a physical aspect to it. I mean, that seems to be part of the reason we're here, is to actually do what we do up there here in the flesh. And as you come together, I wonder if those perspectives will continue to be unique, or if they'll all become the same. Who knows?
Good question. I also saw a confidence in their power.
Yeah.
A knowing of their power.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, and people have said over the years that perhaps the biggest fear is fear of our own power. And I think in terms of what Michael's working on and what I wrote and the other things we talked about that were related, what blocks our power? Fear. What creates our fear? Loss, grief, suffering, pain. So if these are the things standing in our way, look, I would kind of like break it down to triggers. You used to talk about triggers and people would be like, holy shit, you know. Now you talk to people about triggers and they go, thank you.
Yes.
I mean, that's their approach, or our approach becoming more and more solidified is when we see a trigger, thank you. Right? I mean, it's a different perspective, and I think that applies to the other example.
That was one of the stories of the Buddha. When someone came into his temple, angry at him for something he'd heard, slapped him, spit in his face, and left. And then this person realized he'd heard the wrong thing and came back to apologize. And the Buddha said, no, it's perfectly okay. It gave me a chance to test myself at how I would react. And of course he reacted wonderfully. But that's interesting, right? Someone comes in and we all get activated by something, and less as we get more, spiritually mature, I think. But occasionally someone just gets you, and you're like, you could share it with somebody. It's like, they don't get it because it's like, that was your trigger. So then that's an opportunity. Thank you. I'm going to see what that is. That is an area I am not free. Let me just do a little investigation, a little zero pointing, and get to it and get myself free of it.
Yeah.
Get an appointment with Morgan Lee.
Just there you go. Seeking, and that's that open. The open part of it is the closed part of it, the closed of the open and the open of the closed. It's us. So I don't know. To me, again, it's this last 2-3 weeks. There's a whole difference in the way things are being perceived, and maybe I just woke up, and maybe I'm waking up, and maybe I'm still asleep, but something in this atmosphere has changed. And I've done enough of these shows in many different states, but still picked up a consistent energy that everyone realizes something has flipped here. And it's not a bad thing. It's just part of the experience seems to be a lot of purging, a lot of stuff coming up, just a lot of stuff going on. And you might, a great sign.
I think you might want to be careful, because it's like you're out in the ocean with waves, interviewing people about waves, and you might start to think you're in that ocean. And actually you're hanging from a helicopter. It's one way of saying it. So what I mean is you're we all need to observe whatever we're in as quickly as possible. Get to the observation point as soon as quick. Sometimes we're in the anger, we're in the depression, the sadness, and we think we are the sadness. And then then you're looking up the suicide hotline to make sure, because you think you are the sadness, and you aren't. And time frequently will help heal that. But we need to get there quickly as possible. Get help if you need to. Call the hotline. But it's like we're not that. And you interviewing all these people, you might want to take care to make sure you're observing and not in it too much. I'm curious with you. Have you been giving yourself enough self-care, self-love in the last couple of weeks?
Why? Do you think something's wrong with me?
It's
No,
actually
I'm very satisfied with
Ah,
the last couple of weeks. I've been going through a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of other people are. And I knew when I saw it, when I felt I actually observed it first,
yeah.
first part of March, and then 2-3 days later, it came into me physically. But I knew from the beginning it was a very collective thing, but also obviously very personal for all of us. But
Sure.
but in terms of like self-care, yeah, I mean, absolutely. And
'Cause
I've
Mhm.
actually, as part of this change,
Mhm.
I've actually felt a kind of a, I don't want to say an override, but like a new program came in, and some of that has been my diet.
Yeah, me too.
I've released a couple of things. There's I could feel it's not just me.
True.
You know what I mean? Like we say, okay, it's a collective energy, and it's bringing all this up in us. But at the same time, I think that there's, to me anyway, it seems obvious that there's impact on our physical body. I feel like my body in the last 7 or 8 days has purged physically in a way I can't even describe.
Wow.
It's an energetic, like
Mm.
it's crazy, you know.
Okay. So
Makes me
yeah,
wonder if I should. It makes me wonder if I should have detoxified a long time ago. If that would have helped, but maybe I just wasn't ready.
maybe you you may even not have been, and that's okay. Um, that's very interesting. And as far as self-care, and it sounds like when these things flip, you as long as you're there to cradle yourself,
Yeah,
as long as you're there to take care of yourself, because only we can take care of ourselves the best for ourselves, even
that's
if
right.
you have a partner, of course. But you're alone, it's you. So definitely we need to take care of ourselves first, and hopefully you're doing that. And by the way, and even if it was only you, it doesn't matter if it's only you that is going through this.
Well, here's the thing. Whatever I'm going through, you're going through.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean, we may not be at that level of sensitivity where we can see the repercussions of our own energy, but that's where we're headed. And because the connectivity is the way this thing rolls, that's why the collaboration and co-creation is so significant, because it is a physicalization of ultra number of frequencies in different forms and fashion represented by people and their intentions and their heart and their love that make this thing sparkle, explode, expand. I think we're actually on kind of a fast track. These conversations for the last few days have been very interesting. The right people have come in. There's been the talk about, are you going to physically take your body with you in this ascension? What does it look like? How quick can it happen? How long does it take? But to me, I see it's moving at the speed that it's supposed to move, and what we can handle. And I'm a bit impressed.
well, and here's, people talk about ascension and your body and the physicality. My understanding, my knowing is that you're still in the same place. You're here, but you see it differently. You love everything. I mean, a lot of people are saying, I'm just going to send out of here and I'm done with it. I've had more lives than I want to. I'm done. It's like, that attitude is going to get you coming right on back. Maybe as a turtle. No, I don't know. I'm just
No, don't say that.
but the thing is, ascension is here. It's
Yeah.
here for anybody, everybody, and whatever's happening with people who are not, or Franco has talked about, that a large segment of the population is a little different, that they're here for us to help us, but they're not necessarily on the same trajectory. I know what I'm talking about there, and it's
I don't. Is that the 68% thing I saw on his board the other day? Because I didn't finish watching that.
yeah, that.
So I thought he said the 68% was kind of in the representing the awake state, but it wasn't.
No, that would be the other side. So he's talking about, and his information. Obviously, those of us like you followed him probably for years.
I'd love to hear it. I mean,
It's okay. His numbers are that there's 500,000 of us. And then there's 2.5 million of like next level where they're like us. And then the rest are like our filler, are here for us to experience what we wanted to experience. And I got to tell you, that clicked for me big time, because I'm like, that's right. You're never going to convince everybody of anything. People have felt that way, from Marcus Aurelius in Roman time, all the way. He died, and a lot of people, no one changed. A lot, people largely stay the same, or they evolved, or we're going to, whatever happens by the time we physically leave, it's going to be what it is, but it doesn't matter, because all this is a playground. It's set up on purpose as a structure for us to come experience what we came here to experience.
Exactly.
And trying to, and I used to want to change the world. You start a magazine, you want to do that, you want to convince people and fix people. And I gave all that up. I'm just sharing information on thriving and helping amplify the message of these great writers and teachers. But it's like, yeah, that felt so good. It's like, yeah, that's right. It's okay if that person who just, man, they don't seem to have any reason to, to my ego. But when I let it go and I just be me and do me, then, and you're in the flow, it doesn't matter. All these things, all these whatever the number, it doesn't matter when you're in the flow, because you're in the flow. You're here for yourself, for your alignment, which of course will serve the collective, but align with yourself first, get the oxygen mask in the plane for yourself first. Otherwise you're no good to anybody. If you do backwards, it's not the way. And that's where you want to be. And that's the flow. That's the present moment.
Yeah.
In the present moment, we're not thinking, what can I do for the collective? What can I do for the collective? What can I do? It's like, what would love do now?
Yeah.
What
exactly.
So
yeah. Exactly. And then, also kind of respecting the matrix, what we call the matrix, respecting its role. Back in my old life, business life, whenever I would be offered a compensation plan, there would be a potentially large percentage of my income could be from profit, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would put how much I wanted to make, and at the top I would formulate the P&L, the budget based on what it wanted to be down here. So in other words, I was holding a space of this grand revenue, right? Or just think of it as an energy or a place. And for me, that's how I feel sometimes. Or this is an exercise I go through, which is I am what I am in this flesh. What I see is not real. What I see runs on the same principles and foundation of my own reality. What I can do, what it can look like. So I go to the top and say, there's no borders, there's no laws, there's no restrictions.
That's right.
This isn't that atmosphere. It is a mirror of all of our innocence, curiosity, love, genuine soul, everything. Yeah. It's like kids on a playground. Exactly. That's that kind of energy, and then I
sandbox, yes.
And then I figure if I can hold that, it's kind of like when I met Morgan. When I met Morgan, it was like I saw that, like I just knew it, like I know what I just said. At least that's my truth. And then, but I didn't know how to get there. But if you look at all of our journeys, everything is brought to us with more and more frequency as we've expanded.
Yes. I mean, it usually takes someone to be retired before they'll say this. They'll say, if it ain't fun, I ain't doing it.
They'll also say, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You ever go into a men's restroom in a public place and an old man walks in? That's all I got to tell you.
or at the gym, right? Yeah.
Oh, man.
So the thing is, why do we have to wait to retire? Why do people figure that out? Kids know it. Older people know it. More of us in the middle are coming to know it. And that's why, it's hard to make plans, because it's like, for you, I mean, we know Soulogy Fest is going to be fun. That's just, we got it down on the calendar. That's just awesome. That's us playing the sandbox for sure, almost by definition. But other stuff, people like, when it comes to, you look at your calendar and say, oh, today I got this. Oh, okay. I was feeling that last week, but I'm not feeling it, and that's okay. And to change. So it's hard to make plans, but if it's fun, but if you're inviting people to have fun with you, like you're doing a Soulogy Fest, you get boatloads of people, because that's what it's about, and it serves our spirit. Come on, who listening is not going to Sedona on May 20? Come on,
You can
go.
visit, you can go online too.
Yeah, go online, but
you can go online too. You can go online too. We're going to have the whole thing's going to be stereo sound, continue live stream. It's 20 plus hours. It's $122, which is of course goes towards
with all you're putting into it, all the people that you're inviting to speak that are coming. That's a deal. And going, there's nothing like being there. We loved being there last year, and it was great. It's mostly outdoors, so people,
you've been to the place. Yeah. I'm downloading some footage. I'm going to put some stuff out in the next couple of days to show people what it looks like. It's an amazing place. Yeah. It's going to be cool, man. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a lot.
And is the guy going to be cooking up the grub again like he was?
We're actually still just kind of looking into that. And
he was so nice.
Oh yeah. He's going to be there. Okay. Shams. No, we actually, there's a well-known local establishment that we're talking to. That's really all I can say right now. But there's going to be a lot more added to it in terms of what we've shown on the website SoulogyFest.com. In the next, it'll be more visible. There'll be more names added. There'll be more detail in the schedule and that type of thing. So it's going to have a nice flow. There'll be a lot of different types of energies presented. It won't be the same thing over and over and over again. There'll be a permanent music accompaniment setup for any speaker that may want it, or anybody that wants to come up and jam a little bit or whatever. It's just going to be this same energy that we're all not by force or flow becoming, which is what's going on right now. What can we do right now? Why is there a smile on our face? Well, let's just open our hearts. Do we need to cry? Do we want to dance? Whatever it is, just let's just let it come out. I was thinking the other day, when I first downloaded Soulogy, it was like, and I started writing, it was like everybody's invited, Muslims, drug addicts, everybody. And then I started thinking about what's happening now. And I thought, okay, it's gone to a deeper level too. So everybody's invited. And I don't mean this for Soulogy Fest solely. I mean, this is the place that we're all going. I call it Soulogy, whatever you want to call it the Holy Spirit. But bring everybody, bring your agenda, bring your shadows, bring your traumas, bring your journeys, bring your gold, because it's all gold, right? And let's keep, ripping the layers off of our perception that have separated us. And that's why I think Soulogy Fest is important. Not because, it's the first Soulogy Fest. Will there be more? I'm sure there will. Will I be involved in them? I don't think so. I think I will be involved in some, and some I won't. But the point is, it's not just Soulogy Fest. There are initiatives like this occurring all over the world, and they have different names. That's the point. Absolutely. The point is bringing together a strong nucleus of people that have the same basic intention, regardless of their programming, regardless of their agenda, regardless of their courage and their fears and everything that makes us up, and coming together and seeing what kind of action reaction occurs, because I guarantee you it'll pulse out into this grid just based on the numbers.
You might think about that when you design the space too, because maybe we should be sitting on the floor more in a circle or semicircle instead of like audience and person in front. Just a thought that came to me just now.
Well, that's okay for people that have an ass. I don't have one. It hurt me too bad to sit on the
floor. We'll be bringing our shuttle bus, so I'll bring you a couch cushion. And by the way, I went to a party years ago where someone had a sign taped on the door, the guy who was doing the party, and it said, "Things we will be talking about at this party: politics, religion." Okay. So the version of that for you, what you were just talking about bring all your stuff, bring your this and that. You could say, bring your layers with the knowing that we're going to work, that they're going to be, we're not going to stay in them and glorify them. We don't want to glorify things. But if you want it worked on, we'll work on it with you. We'll hold space for you.
Well, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of that. I was talking in the last meeting we had a couple of days ago, Franco, because Franco's going to speak Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday's going to be music in the first 3 or 4 hours, or stage performances, or whatever you want to call it. There could be some people talking that are, because there's going to be a lot of active participation from the people that come. It's some of it's who's going to be there already, but there's over 14 hours of time, actually over 20 hours of time, because we're counting Monday, of where people will have an opportunity to come up and express themselves however they deem fit. But anyway, the first night, so Franco might be doing like an hour the first night, and it'll be the first, or before I open it, or it'll be the second after I open it. And that's how it's going to start. He has a method or a process or meditation or whatever you want to call it, where he's going to, and he's done it many times before at these types of events, where he's going to kind of create a space, all of us together, a lot like when he was explaining it, it sounded a lot like to me when practitioners, or like Morgan, will talk about how she opens her space, she opens her heart, as I feel into it. She opens her heart, the practitioner, and then invites the other to do so. And I think I see it like that type of energy. So that's going to be how we start it. And there'll be a lot of healing modality, frequencies and such, and opportunities and potential experiences there in a lot of different ways as well, to include some of the presenters such as Jason Estes and Franco, and some others that are in our vendor collaborator category. We have 4 slots, vendor collaborator categories, and we've already had over 50 people request. They don't even know this. We have the setup, except for one that's doing it. And basically what we're doing is, for 444, 2 people can man 1 table. We have 3 other slots. They get to go the entire time, and they get to set up their table to do sessions and or show their products. So there's going to be a really good mix. There's also a sweat lodge. There's a teepee. There's the main tent. There's quite a bit of space if you need time to go integrate, because, with everything else that it's going to be, is, and will be, there's also going to be in that environment, in my opinion, with Sedona, because Sedona is a very powerful, sacred place. It's got a lot of energy, just like the energy that we're all being exposed to right now, and learning to function. So there'll be, I think, the potential of, people get triggered, people need to go take a few breaths, they need to take a walk, so there's a lot of space for that as well.
Excellent. The energy of Sedona. I mean, one of the most exciting things to me was driving into Sedona for the first time and the second time. It's just, the red rock, the rocks start getting red, they start getting bigger, the formations are amazing. And then you feel it, you start to feel it. And why this mystical community is settled there. And yeah, there's some commercialization, of course, but that's,
man, you could have a skyscrapers like downtown Manhattan in Sedona. For anyone that's been there, I mean, the land speaks to. I mean, you don't have a choice.
That's right.
And, I mean, it's all alignment. I mean, it's all happening. It's all aligning. Many things are aligning for all of us. And I guess my mantra today for myself is keep going. Keep going. If you need to go lay down, go take a break, but just keep going, do the best you can, and stay on point, because it's a new day every day.
I want to circle back to your grief. Is there anything left unsaid? Is there anything you'd like to get closure on as far as that goes? I'll hold space for you.
Well, I just want to be clear. There's no specific grief.
Okay.
There's big ones and there's little ones. If we were going to have a episode on your show or mine, and Todd's willing to on behalf of myself, my brothers and sisters in the universe, I'll bear my soul to the nth degree. This is a figurative comment, but it could be literal. You never know. But so to the question of grief, for me, it would probably be the longest broadcast in the history of the earth. It would be perpetual.
Hmm.
We are all blessed with the reward of the work we've done. And one of the byproducts of the work we've done are to see clearer and clearer and clearer. And I think that our journey into whatever our focus goes is going to continue to be to have that endless, somewhat infinite flow of new perspectives and new expansions and new epiphanies, right up into, if you believe there's 12 dimensions and the 111 is in the 13th, it's going to be right up to the 12th. It's never going to change. This is our go-to. In the human world, it feels like a hindrance. It's been uncomfortable. We avoided it, but now we're taking it head on, and this is how we grow. So, I welcome the next grief. I welcome the next whatever. I welcome the next trigger. I'm better for it today, and I've learned most of this, of course, with my beautiful bride and from this community. I've seen the transformations, and I've seen the journeys of people in this community, not just on the show, but the people and their energy that may not come on the show that make their comments and send messages and so on. So it's a privilege and an honor to be on the earth today, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Agreed.
I love you, man.
Love you too, Todd.
Thank you for sharing space with me today and having a conversation like we were just having it with ourselves, which is even better, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care, brother. I'll see you soon.